Hey, welcome back to another Black City Coffee Vlog. In this video, I wanted to tell you about a new coffee that we have called Ethiopia Yirgacheffe. I want to show you the last thing I did regarding my roast curve of it. And hopefully you can see it here. Ta-da! What's been really cool with you guys on the DMs on Instagram is you're sending me roast curves, or I'll ask you to send me roast curves if you're having issues or you're not maybe getting the taste notes that you want from your roast at home, which is really cool. It's really fun because it kind of cements what I'm learning and we can learn back and forth. So this is a recent roast of the new coffee that we have, Ethiopia Yirgacheffe, from the Archa region, sourced from Asaya Coffee. Harvested in January 2021. I'm not getting it till now. So it's not the freshest, but it's still really, really good. I taste no notes of oldness or bagginess or anything like that, or age, which you shouldn't. I'm still within the year. It's just, it feels a little late because I know what it could be, which is like months and months and months ago. Whatevs, okay? Just something to make note of. Not a big deal. That's on me, not Asaya. Okay, so I roasted this at 360 charge, and that's Fahrenheit. And I did a full batch of 1,000 grams on my 1 kilogram roaster. Okay. And then I want to break it down what I'm doing now when I roast these coffees. And I don't think I've made a video on this before or recently about what I've been doing at the roaster since my time at Klatch and just roasting, learning, documenting, taking real notes and stuff like this. And I think it's shown here in this nice roast curve that it just looks fine. Number one, this coffee is not so weird. It behaves pretty well up until I think the final phase. And let's go over it. Okay. This is a little misleading here of this sort of like showing that it starts to turn around after 2 minutes. I feel like that could be displayed better in the graph form, but you can see it here, okay? So charge, disregard that. I'll link it in the description so you can actually see. Charge, I said it's 360, right? So around there. Turning point is at 151. Good. I want to stay under a minute for this full batch. I don't soak anymore. I just don't feel that I need to, because the profiles that I want to make are lighter. If I wanted to go a little bit darker, if I wanted to go medium, and I wanted to slowly heat this coffee up and roast this coffee, then maybe I could execute a soak and that would work in that case. I don't really know, because that's not my goal. So my goal are to make these pretty light roasts, and I want to really preserve all of these sort of like the most delicate flavors that I can of this coffee. Okay, so we got turning point at 151. Green to yellow or dry end at 438. Cool, good. And here's the thing that I'm starting to do. So right around 300 degrees Fahrenheit, or, because sometimes it's not at the same time, but I have dry end. Maybe dry end will be a bit later. It'll never be before. But that's when I will start to lower the power or the fuel. Okay, otherwise, I have that thing at full power when I charge. So I charge, it's full power, right? I'm approaching 360. Full power, I charge, boom. Charge the beans, turns around at 151, and it's full power. I don't touch fuel. Air is at a low setting. And then when I hit 300 degrees and or dry end, then I will start to lower my heat. Typically, I'm looking at the ROR to see how much I'm going to lower this heat. The ROR tells me what to do with the fuel. You know, so I'm looking at it. It's approaching right here. It's like here when it's roasting. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to lower the heat now. My full power is 2.5 kPa. I'm going to maybe lower it to 1.5 kPa. When I get to about 5 minutes, I'm actually lowering that all the way down to maybe 1 kPa. So we're steadily watching. And I'm watching this ROR teeter-totter like this, driving along. If I feel like and I'm looking at that ROR. If it's going too high, I'm going to lower the heat. So I'm always has my eye on that ROR and everything else also, but this is one of the main markers that I'm looking at to make decisions, big fuel decisions on the gas, right? Because mine is all manual. And then I probably ride that out up until I hit first crack. I'm steadily decreasing my fuel, watching that ROR, making sure that's not going too high or it's not going too low. I'm not crashing or anything like that. All the while, I'm going down, down, down like this until sometimes I'm even at like a little tiny, I'm just barely open on the fuel, where I even see orange in the flame, right? Got a really small flame. I'm approaching it. I may be hitting my first crack at like 375, so a little bit earlier than say maybe a larger machine, okay? Because it's a smaller machine. And I'm approaching first crack, and I've got my fuel way down. Maybe my air setting that I have switched to like a medium when I hit dry end. I maybe might crank that to like a medium high setting, but I've got the air at like a medium setting. And then I hear those first pops. Cool, I hit the button on here on my roast path for first crack. I crank the air to high, like all the way. And then I watch the ROR, and I see if it's gonna like crash or plummet. Then I know I need to crank that fuel way back up. I can be kind of preemptive about that. I'm not trying to be like super reactive with it. But like you can kind of tell once you've been roasting a little bit, you just watch that ROR. And if I need to bump that fuel up to maybe about 1, maybe 2, maybe 2.5, right? That's kind of pushing it. But like the Ecuador I had to jump back up so that it didn't crash, right? To kind of combat that, because as first crack is happening, all this air is escaping, it's getting cooler, and that ROR is crashing. So to combat that, I would preemptively know that and like kind of bump the fuel back up to like to counter that, basically. So not all coffees are going to do that, and that's why you got to be right there at the roaster making those decisions, seeing what you have to do. And it's so particular with every single coffee and with every machine and with every operator and with every like ambient temperature that's going on. So there's just so many factors. It's really hard to just tell you, oh, do this, do that. You could tell me like what's your individual situation, and maybe I might be able to like give you a tip or two or something like that. But we can tell here on your roast curves or something that you send to me, oh, maybe, you know, drying looks a little late, drying looks a little early, or whatever. Okay, so we're hitting first crack at 832, right on the button at 373. And then I'm dropping at 1015, 391. Now this, I feel, I cupped it, and it tastes to me a little bit more, still, again, more on the medium side. I dropped it, I believe, 17% DTR. And what I say in the last video, don't let this number fool you, because it's still got to cool down, so you're going to have to predict where it's going to land. This guy, once I hit the final phase of this coffee, it's so interesting that it just like, it accelerates so quickly in terms of heading over to the medium side, to the darker side. You know, some coffees have a lot of give, a lot of like range when you get into the last phase. Like you could still roast it a little bit more. This one, right when you pass a minute, I feel like it's starting to get a little too dark for me. So what I'm going to do, and what I had done, or what I had said I was going to do in the last video, was like drop it at 15% DTR. It's kind of just a marker for me, meaning I just need to drop it earlier, right? So the next time I go in, I feel like I haven't dialed this in yet. It always takes, I think, maybe 8 roasts. I've done maybe 5, so I'm almost there. I feel almost there. Dialed into what I like. It's sellable, it's drinkable, it's an amazing coffee, it's so tasty. I'm just letting you know what's inside my brain as a roaster, like trying to get it perfect to my standard, right? And I want it to be the best for you guys. So I'm gonna drop it earlier, and have it land at a 17%. So meaning maybe I've got to drop it. I've done my test at 15%. Maybe it's 12. And those decisions, I'm not just pulling that out of my butt. I'm going to be at the roaster. I'm going to look at the bean. I'm going to see what it looks like. I'm going to make sure the surface of the bean is not swelling. Because once I notice that, I'm like, oh snap, I'm too late. Yes, because once I finally drop it, it's going to feel like a medium to me. So those are the things I have to watch out for, and drop it right when it's ready to go. When I verify with a visual and a smell, but mostly visual. I think that'll be the easiest tell for me. And it's just messing with my mind because I've just developed a lot of silly habits before getting to this point. And so I'm always just kind of like me against myself. But all in an effort to make it taste the best. So yeah. Dropping this a little bit earlier, maybe in the 9-minute region, maybe 9-minute 45, something like that, or 9-minute 30, maybe even earlier than that. I don't know. We're going to see. I have to be at the roaster making those decisions, and that's what I encourage you guys to do is like, maybe watch this video and go, okay, with the intention of building confidence in myself at the roaster for my own goals, my own coffee profiles, for my own taste, that is within your power and within your grasp. I think that's what I really want to do with these videos, is just to get you guys to go in there and learn to be confident again in your own ability and what's going on in your situation. Okay, because it's not that we don't know that, but I think it helps to hear it from other people encouraging you. Yeah, be confident. Go out there and find out for yourself and see if it works for you and develop your own system. Sometimes we need somebody to say, hey, it's okay. Do your thing. Okay, that's my Ethio Yirgacheffe so far. So far, I'll probably come back in here and let you know what my little sweet spot was for it. I feel like I'm right on the cusp. I'm right on the cusp. I just need to drop it earlier. I feel like everything up until this point is great. The coffee is very easy to roast, and I'm just refining. A year ago, I'd been like, I wouldn't even know what to point out to you or even say that this is good or not good for me. Things like that, okay? So yay for progress. All right, subscribe if you like more content like this. I'm going to be trying to make more and more content. Now that we have a really nice set and I love walking into here and making content, much more content in the next year, much more disciplined with posting and everything. All in all, everything better. And thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on this video if you did like it. Can't put a dislike anymore because I took that out. That's kind of whack. And subscribe for more content like this. Did I say that? All right. See you in the next one. Bye.